This has to be just a terrible situation. The worst thing would be, you know, your family not being able to see you after you leave for work that day.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Whenever somebody like important, you know, dies, we hear about it all the time. You hear about it, they're in the news, and it's just, it's a big, you know, it's a big to-do, it's a big thing. And when working people die, particularly when working people die, I think it's particularly egregious when working people die in the course of doing their work and they don't get any of these accolades. They might get, as these people have, a quick hit in local media, and that's it. And nobody remembers their name, and nobody remembers what happened to them, or you know, anything like that. And so I wanted to pay, you know, homage to them and their lives. And that is, the first story is 59-year-old Huntsville construction worker Toribio Perez. He died in a workplace accident on Thursday, January 5th. Falling 20 to 30 feet to his death on a work site off of Old Monrovia Road in Huntsville. So, you know, I do hope that y'all will, you know, if y'all are praying type folks, keep his family in your thoughts and prayers. This has to be, you know, just a terrible situation. The worst thing would be, you know, your family not being able to see you after you leave for work that day. And I also hope that folks that are elected in Huntsville, you know, I hope they know his name. And I hope that they really think about if they're doing everything that they can regarding safety in the workplace,
right,
in the place that they're elected. I know, for example, that Huntsville does not have a responsible bidder ordinance. A lot of, and I haven't looked too deeply into this, but a lot of state and local laws mandate that the government, when you work with a contractor, when you're doing construction stuff, you have to give to the lowest, the lowest price, basically. And some of them say the lowest reasonable price, the lowest responsible price, or whatever. But in most jurisdictions, in a lot of jurisdictions, that responsible is not defined. It's just not defined. And I know that that's the case here in Huntsville. We do not have a responsible bidder ordinance that defines what type of safety regulations a bidder has to meet to work on public construction projects. And that's something that should change. Birmingham just passed a responsible bidder ordinance. I know that in Pennsylvania, friend of the show, Connor Lewis, president of the Seven Mountains Labor Council, he's pushing for a responsible bidder ordinance in his county because they have actually had, in that county, an increase in workplace deaths of 40% over the last year, which is really shocking. And so, you know, not having that floor there can be really detrimental for workers. And I can't say for sure in this particular instance if there was any negligence on the part of the contractor. We're going to have to wait for more to come out. But there almost always is the thing. There almost always is whenever you hear about one of these stories. If any digging is ever done into it, which you know, that in and of itself is not the, you know, you can't take that for granted,
right,
that somebody's going to be digging into this and that you're going to be able to find out more, you know. But when that happens, it's almost always the case that if any digging is done, that you're going to see that there's some sort of training that the worker who died ought to have had. There are some safety precautions that management either explicitly or implicitly encouraged workers not to follow, or winked and nodded as workers avoided them. And so, you know, we do have a reporter in Huntsville that is going to be looking into this, Megan Plotka with WAFF. She reported on the death, and I've talked to her since then, and she said that she is interested in digging into the safety practices of this contractor, the contractor that Toribio Perez was working for is Ellington Construction. Ellington Construction. So if you have any tips about the safety practices of Ellington Construction or the circumstances of Perez's death, then shoot her an email at megan.plotka@waff.com. megan.plotka@waff.com.
Appreciate Megan being on that story and investigating it, and I hope she can come up with some more of the facts surrounding this tragic death.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.